Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how did we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the E-commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The E-commerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com.
It's E-commerce Minute episode 728.
In today's episode, Shopify unveils new payment installment money management feature.
Shopify was supposed to host the fifth installment of its annual Partner and Development Conference, Shopify Unite, in Toronto earlier this month. But in late February, Shopify canceled the in-person element over COVID-19 concerns and then ultimately decided to cancel the whole event altogether. But the company still had some important news to share, so the event went virtual and turned into Shopify Reunite. Shopify announced a slew of finance, shipping, and retail updates for its direct-to-consumer commerce platform. The company unveiled a business account and debit card called Shopify Balance, a buy now, pay later option called Shop Pay Installments, and a new local delivery product. Shopify also announced its AI-powered fulfillment network is now actively accepting merchant applications. The biggest announcement is that Shopify wants to offer merchants financial products to start, run, and grow their businesses. The company does not want to become a bank per se, but it's clearly interested in dipping into the fintech stream, an increasingly common trend for tech companies and e-commerce platforms, and Shopify spans both. Shopify is launching Shopify Balance later this year, which will give merchants an account where they can manage their cash flow, pay bills, and track expenses. It will also include a Shopify Balance card, a virtual and physical card that businesses can use to access their money and earn rewards for their business expenses. The Shopify Balance card can be a physical card or a virtual card. Merchants can use it to access their money by spending in store, online, or via mobile. We'll get a debit card in the mail that they can customize with their company's brand. An unnamed third party will provide the infrastructure to handle the transactions in the background so merchants get their money immediately. Shopify Chief Product Officer Craig Miller said that they get access to the money they're earning from the Shopify store within the same day they earn it. Miller also said the partner in question will be unveiled when Shopify Balance launches. Later this year, Shopify will also launch Shop Pay Installments, also only available to U.S. merchants. Consumers can split purchases, $50 to $1,000, including taxes and shipping, into 4 equal payments over time, interest-free, and with no additional fees, Shopify promises.
Well, not homegrown. They're probably partnering with a bank and stuff like that, but it's going to be definitely their own. They're hitting up becoming a bank all of a sudden, too.
Sure.
Which is kind of crazy.
I mean, Square's doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. What I like about this installment thing is it just spreads it out over 4 months.
And no interest.
No interest.
It's very appealing to a lot of people, because even though you're buying something that you can't afford, sometimes you go, oh, but that interest. But you just go, okay. In your mind, you do the math and you say, I can justify this. I think it's great.
Yeah, so $1,000 product spread it over 4 months with no interest. That's pretty good. Should you be buying $1,000 product if you don't have $1,000? That's a story.
Tune into our other podcast, the financial podcast. This is pretty good. I actually watched this Shopify Reunite. It was pretty interesting because they all did it from their homes.
Yeah.
And it was scripted and it was rehearsed and it was very well done. But it was literally like, hey, Carl, why don't you tell us about the new product announcements? Hi, Cindy. And you see he's literally like in his bedroom. He's like, yeah, I'm going to tell you about these exciting. And we couldn't be happier. But you could just imagine these people standing on a stage, but now they're sitting in their living room.
My favorite was when they kind of stumbled. That was my favorite. There's like moments. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to be like, oh, hey, oh, let me show you this. And then it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. People are human.
Kudos to them. They did it.
Yeah, they did it. And they presented the information. I thought it went pretty smooth. I mean, it was over an hour and I started to get a little snoozy there towards the end, but no, it's great. Yeah. I think that's the future of these types of announcements. They're going to realize that people just want this basic information. You don't need to travel to Toronto or Ontario or wherever. What else do we want to say about Shopify? I mean, we got this card, which is great. Doesn't Square has a card too, don't they, Bart?
Yeah,
merchant card. So they're competing against, because now, and Shopify also has the in-store POS, so they're going head to head with Square and all this stuff. But what I like is you have all your little products all tied up in a nice, neat bow. You can run your store 100% on Shopify. The bad news is if you miss paying your bills, then your store is gone. But we hope that doesn't ever happen to anyone.
There's a lot in this announcement. Like, it was really hard to kind of sift through everything because Shopify is doing so many little behind the scenes things.
Yeah, the local delivery. And then we had the one you could leave tips at checkout. I know some people are pushing back on that. I don't know how I feel about that. All right, some interesting news from Shopify. There's actually more here than we can cover in one podcast. So we suggest you go to Shopify, go to the source itself. Just look up the Reunite conference and they'll have all the juicy deets right there. We're going to close this with a little stat time. The coronavirus pandemic has forced many retailers to temporarily close their physical stores, leading to a 16% decline in overall sales in the month of April. Average daily local orders on Shopify for the 6 weeks ending April 24th grew 176% compared to the prior 6 weeks, coinciding with the introduction of physical distancing measures, according to MarketWatch. As of April 24th, 26% of brick and mortar merchants in Shopify's English-speaking geographies were using some form of local pickup and delivery solution, compared to just 2% at the end of February. In its own research, a survey of 649 U.S. merchants, Shopify found that 2 in 5 merchants are currently using their bank accounts and cards for business. Isn't that a tax no-no, Bart? Don't you separate your personal and your business bank accounts. Come on, guys. 2 in 5. So that just tells me that a lot of them are just people doing a side hustle, and hopefully they're going to grow big enough to get their tax ducks in order, because you don't want to get that from the IRS.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Listen, guess what? Your car payment cannot be paid under your business account. You can't go buy lunch every day for your business account. All right. You guys got anything else?
No, that's it.
Tune into my tax podcast. That's it. We're good. All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet.
That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe, or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion, or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.